Hey, what's up guys? We're at Motorsports International today in Auburn, Mass, and we're gonna help Chris Meehan convert over his race UTV to Evans Waterless Coolants. So let's head on inside and get the show going. Chris, what's up buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
How's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you.
Sweet.
Ready to get this thing going?
Definitely.
All right, bud, let's go convert it. Let's grab some coolant and go.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll get the prep. Let's head out to the shop.
So this is the service department.
Nice. Well, Chris, we appreciate you having us here today to help you convert your UTV over to be race ready. So if you don't mind, just kind of tell me a little bit about your machine, the series that you do. And
Yeah, so as you can see, it's a 2019 Honda Talon 1000 R. We've been racing UTV Rally Rush. We've been racing, well, we're going to be entering NEATV, racing that, trying that out.
Very cool.
First race we did of the year, we had another machine previous, and we had overheating issues. It was a mud race, radiator got packed, I had to keep pulling over. Slow speed, it was overheating. High speed, I was all right, I was getting enough air through, but at that point, I was running out of coolant.
Yeah, and we can certainly help you with that. You know, when you get into the slow speeds and radiators packed, obviously you're not going to have airflow, so your coolant's going to start to boil, overheat, push it out of the system, cause steam. With our products here having a much higher boiling point, which is 375 degrees, it's always going to be able to stay in a liquid state. Always ensure liquid to metal contact to draw heat and not turn to steam, build your steam vapor pressure, and push it out of the system. So we can definitely help you in that aspect of it. Today what we'll do, we'll help you out. We'll go through the step-by-step process on how to convert this machine, be able to share it for yourself and others out there. And that way people can come to you guys here in the store and be able to do it. You guys can help them out as well. So
Yeah, sweet, sounds good.
awesome.
Or pain to get back in after.
Yeah, it might be.
So we got the coolant drained. We used a lower drain on the radiator hose.
Yep.
What's the next step?
So next step, what I'm going to do is we got to get it ready to flush it with our prep fluid. But before I do that, I like to try to make sure I blow out all the residual water and coolant that's still in the system. We're going to blow out the radiator itself, and then we're going to blow out the engine block itself too in the head. And a good way to do that, I use just a little handheld leaf blower. You can use a shop vac too if you want to do that. The shop vac obviously has to have a reverse flow system. And then, or you could use compressed air, but light volume, you know, or high volume, light pressure per se. I don't want you blowing anything out. But so what I do here, we remove the upper and lower hose on the radiator, and I'm going to blow air through the hose here, and so it comes out the other side, and that's going to blow out the block, the whole engine system. So we can go ahead and start that process now.
Okay.
So now that that's pretty much blown out here, I'm going to do the radiator as well. So I'm going to blow it from the upper one out through the bottom because it's just going to be easier to drain from there. So, all right, you got the drain pan ready?
Yep.
How's it looking?
Messy.
So now that we got the system blown out, we're going to put it back together, put the hoses back on, tighten everything up, and we're going to fill it with the prep fluid and let the vehicle run. Make sure the prep fluid circulates through the whole system, let it be able to absorb all the residual water and coolant that may still be trapped in there.
So we drained all the coolant out, put it all back together. What is this thing?
So this tool is just going to help save us a lot of time, grief, and aggravation. We can use it because we have access to the shop air here and whatnot, but what this tool is called is it's an airlift system. It's going to pull a vacuum on the cooling system itself, suck all the air out of the system, and get it ready to fill with the prep fluid now. And it's going to be able to fill it without air in the system, so we don't have to sit there and bleed it. Obviously, most people aren't going to have access to this tool or air itself. So in their case, what they're going to do is just generally just fill it up like you normally would with the prep fluid. And you're going to run the machine, let it get hot, let it get up to temperature. This machine has a thermostat, so you want to make sure that opens, let it circulate through the whole system so it can absorb all the residual water and coolant and be able to flush it all out. So we're just saving a lot of time and aggravation using this tool. So
Okay.
I like to make my life easier. I don't know about you, so.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and get this going. We're gonna pull it back into the system, suck all the air out, and then we're gonna fill it with the prep fluid and run it. So we'll go ahead and do that. So small system, didn't take long. It's holding pressure, like I mentioned before. If it holds pressure, you know you don't have a leak, so it is holding pressure. So now we're gonna be ready to fill it with the prep fluid. And we're gonna swap hoses here. We're gonna take this end here, and I got a bucket filled with the prep fluid, so we're gonna submerge it. And I'm gonna open our valves, and we're gonna let it flow right in, so. Top it off with the prep, and then we're gonna run it. Like I said, we want it to get hot. Make sure that thermostat opens, circulates through the whole system. Be able to flush out anything that is left in there, absorb it, and get rid of it. So, and then we're gonna do that and drain the prep fluid from there. So let's go ahead and get this buttoned up, run it, and we'll see where we go from there. So now that we ran the prep fluid through the system, we're gonna go through the whole process again. Disconnect the hoses, blow out the system with some air, blow out the radiator, the engine, all that stuff. Get all the prep fluid out, get it ready for the coolant now. So let's go ahead and pull the hoses and blow out the system. All right, so we finished the prep process. We actually did it 2 times this time, just to be safe. It's not always necessary, but you can run the prep fluid 2 to 3 times. Really make sure you flush the system efficiently, so that way you know you're ready for the coolant. That process is done. We're now ready for the coolant. We pulled the vacuum on the system. We're gonna suck the coolant in there, make sure it's bled, and go from there. So let's go ahead, fill the system. I'm going to submerge the hose again, and we're going to open the valve and let her rip. That took all of a gallon. Easy. It's probably like just over a gallon, whatever. What was
4.1 liters.
Yeah. So we filled the system. Just obviously want to make sure it's topped off, and we're going to just use a little bit from here. And a good thing to remember, though, the coolant, it will have some expansion because it is heat. It's a fluid with heat expansion. It is going to have some type of expansion. So it's typically going to find its level. You may see it push out a little bit, but once it does that, you don't have to top it off from there. It may look a little bit low, but as long as it's at level with the top of the fins, you're going to be just fine. So let's go ahead and top it off. Then we're going to run it. Make sure that we got all the air out of the system, and then you're going to be race ready.
All right, thank you for coming out. Everything looks great. I don't have to worry about blowing the radiator hose off. Don't have to worry about boiling over. I think I got that little advantage I need for this weekend, especially because it might be a little bit of a mud race. So I really appreciate all the help.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us out. We appreciate you guys' support. There's only one step left to do. We got to go take this for a test drive and beat the snots out of it.
Oh, I'm down for that.
Cool. Chris, thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, bud.